Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation, with some shocking, but maybe not surprising news. The United States Mint denies FOIA request to identify dealers. Let's explore! As you know, if you've been watching my channel, especially in 2021, you know that I've been very critical of the United States Mint. I'm not alone. I believe it is justified completely with some of the criticisms that we have of the Mint. But nonetheless, this just adds to the pile and certainly does not make them look good in terms of transparency and making things better for the collector out there. And that's one of their goals, is to provide these coins not only for circulation, which we don't have a problem with. In fact, they're overproducing in that department. But as far as collector relations, well, this is another check in the box of negatives for the U.S. Mint. In this article from coinworld.com, Paul Gilks here has this to say about this. The June 9th Freedom of Information Act request filed by CoinWorld seeking disclosure by the U.S. Mint of the identities of the 18 dealers that comprise the controversial Authorized Bulk Purchase Program, allowing the preferential purchase of select numismatic products before public release, has been denied by the Bureau. And on the 14th of September, CoinWorld filed an appeal for the process here. The citation for the Mint's September 13th denial of the FOIA request is Exemption 4 of FOIA regulations as it pertains to Title 5 of the United States Code 552b4, protecting trade secrets and commercial and financial information obtained from a person that is privileged or confidential. Interesting. Okay. Only one of the 18 ABP dealers, the Paradise Mint of East Ellijay, Georgia, granted the Mint authorization to identify its participation. Information that was released to CoinWorld with the denial of the release of the names of the 17 participating dealers. CoinWorld has been able to identify several additional ABPP participants, but unable to get the Mint to officially confirm. In fact, I did a video where I speculated that perhaps A-Mark was one of those, but it could have been essentially one of the authorized purchasers, which is a different scenario. The Authorized Purchaser Program is completely public. The United States Mint, like other world mints, does not sell its bullion coins directly to the public. Instead, we distribute the coins through a network of official distributors called Authorized Purchasers, or AP, who in turn create a two-way market buying and selling to precious metal wholesalers as well as private investors. And by the way, I have no problem with this program. I think this is fine. In fact, here we can see the top of the list is A-Mark Precious Metals. We can see the other buyers here, and they are essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here in the United States, but there are 3 more, and 2 in Europe and 1 in Japan. So there's 13 authorized purchasers, but there are 18 of the ABPP purchasers here. So nonetheless, the fact that one was identified, I think, is pretty interesting, and we'll look into that here as we continue with the article. The ABPP program allows participants to place orders for select numismatic products before the public on-sale date. 10% of the maximum mintage of those products is set aside from which ABPP orders may be placed. The ABP dealers pay a 5% premium over the Mint's retail price to the public. The ABPP dealers can pick up their orders from the Mint's contracted order fulfillment center in Memphis, Tennessee, So they're already paying a higher premium, and the cost to actually pick the items up, especially if they are from halfway across the country, is going to be fairly substantial. They will pass that along to you, the customer. Now, I don't know of anybody who's bought any of these recent offerings from one of these authorized bulk purchasers. We don't know who they are. We can guess, and the U.S. The coin world has. Maybe they have looked and seen some of these places and seen the products for sale at prices maybe slightly lower than what you get them on the secondary market for, but still at a premium. There was a participant that went public here. Kevin Campbell from Paradise Mint Incorporated said September 14th via email to CoinWorld that the ABPP program has proven to be a disadvantage to him. Well, that's interesting, fascinating. He also questioned why the mint did not increase mintages for certain products to meet market demand. The ABPP program is of very little help to the dealers that are in it, Campbell said. I'm not sure what you are imagining the program is, but it supplies dealers like me with a fraction of the inventory I was able to order before the program's released. In fact, I'm getting less than 10% of the inventory I was able to buy in prior to the release of the ABP program or just their normal dealer program. Well, that can tell us a couple of things. Number one is maybe Paradise Mint is utilizing their employees and other folks to grab more than they could through this program, and utilizing employees that go on the website, log on, and make a purchase, whereas here they've got to actually drive and pick it up, and it's less than 10%. And by the way, that's 10% across the board. So if something has a mintage of 10,000, let's say, for simplicity purposes, that's 1,000. That's 1,000 coins between 18 dealers. There's your math, and so it's got to be divided up evenly, is my guess, or maybe unevenly. I don't know how that works. It is also more expensive and less profitable, and definitely a lot more of a hassle to actually get the product. Yeah, go figure it. So if you are looking for a story that the ABPP program is some sweetheart dealer for the dealers, in it you are sadly mistaken. Well, and that's true, at least on the surface, for most of these items that would not maybe do so well in the secondary market immediately, but it's about timing. And so if you have a limited mintage of 10,000 and it's a hot item, you're going to get it. Let's say if you take into account the travel cost to pick it up, you're talking 25% increase. Well, a lot of these things are doubling, tripling their money on the secondary market, on eBay. And more likely, that's probably where these dealers are selling them, is on eBay, because that is where the hot market is, an immediate aftermath of such a frenzy to try to get the product on release day. So there are several omissions and products that we used to be able to buy that we can no longer get, and I'd be very curious how they got it before. He says the prime example is a burnished, uncirculated silver American Eagle. The last 4 years, I've ordered around 10,000 burnished silver eagles. It was wiped from the normal dealer program. It was not on the ABPP program. Therefore, I got none. So you tell me how the ABPP program actually benefits dealers compared to the previous authorized dealer program. Well, the difference is a lot of these uncirculated coins typically did not have mintage limits before this year. I think that's the difference, and so it was put into that, and last year as well. But anyways, so that's probably one difference there. As for any other dealers declined, I can't speak for them or their reasons. I would suspect that they are afraid you are going to try and run some type of negative article on them, like they're getting some special privileges that don't exist. So this guy is kind of brave for coming forward on that. Kevin Campbell, we're still quoting him here on this, and that makes sense. In a September 7th dated response to a California collector, U.S. Mint Director David J. Ryder says a lot of the work goes into establishing and executing each numismatic program. I don't doubt that it does take some work, but nonetheless, when you look at this thing here, if these dealers don't see an advantage, why don't they just get out? Why doesn't Kevin Campbell just say, I don't want to be a part of their program, sign me out of it? I'd be very curious to see what that's about. Nonetheless, I'm quoting here now from Ryder. A number of important factors are considered when we establish mintage limits for mint products, says Ryder. For some items, including those released through commercial or commemorative coin programs authorized by Congress, maximum mintages are established by individual public laws. Others are based carefully on marketing and demand forecasts, production costs, manufacturing capacity, and past sales history for products of similar value, designs, finishes, and price points. In fact, the commemorative coins are not an issue. There's not been a commemorative coin program that has been as explosive as some of these other very limited releases because their mintages are so high, and most of the themes are what people don't really care about because they're established by Congress for special interest. That is the problem with the commemorative coin program. Almost always they are geared around some sort of a pet project for two congressmen or congresswomen of a certain state for a certain cause or what have you. Now there are some exceptions where some generally liked programs like the baseball coins have done well, but even now they're not really as loved as they were when they were released. I remember that I was the first one to post a video of the coins in hand that I went to the actual U.S. Mint and bought them from the United States Mint headquarters in Washington, D.C. and showed them that day. But nonetheless, pretty much are forgotten about these days. It's pretty crazy. The article continues here. For all of our products, we strive to set mintage limits in accordance with what we've determined to be the best interest of the mint, the numismatic community, and the general public. Now notice the mint is first on this list. And I guess that does make sense as a private, and again, they're not a private enterprise, they are a public enterprise, but they have to essentially be able to work within the confines of what they are allowed and what they feel they can do. Especially with the pandemic, I can understand the best interest of the mint being first. I do give them that in that regard. In other words, being able to produce a certain amount, there could be some, I'm not necessarily against the mintage limits that are produced because of some of the strains they've had, but we've had a lot of time to adapt in that regard too, but that's a different story. As a federal government agency, we take our responsibility of finding the right balance between projected consumer demand and these other factors very seriously. Complicating all of these considerations since March of 2020, of course, has been the COVID pandemic. The FOIA process involves the review of requests under the advice of attorneys within the Mint's office and chief counsel and includes cited reasons for a denial. If part or all of the information requested is denied, an appeal can be filed within 90 days of the denial in writing. To the appeals officer, which is the U.S. Mint director, the director will consult with the Mint's attorneys and determine whether the denial will be upheld or the appeal grant and the information requested released. Well, for something like this, I kind of glossed over this reason, the citation, trade secrets and commercial and financial information from a person that is privileged or confidential. I don't see how that really applies in this situation, but I'm not a lawyer, so I do hope that this appeal will go through and that they will release the information. And if they don't, I believe there might be grounds for Coin World to sue the Mint. Obviously, I think the Mint and that roundtable discussion when it was discussed, when it was pushed back from that individual that I covered that story as well, I believe most people think that the Mint should be transparent in this case. And so I hope that Coin World will pursue this further, even if it means filing a lawsuit for the FOIA request. So very interesting indeed. Again, a lot of things done wrong. I can sort of understand some of the reasoning behind David J. Ryder's quotes here, but not a whole lot, honestly. And it was great that Paradise Mint came forward. I've never even heard of Paradise Mint before this, but my guess is some of these other dealers. Have any of you ever bought from some of these coins from some of these dealers on the same day? Seen them go on sale on their website. If you can tell me who they are, I would love to know. It'd be very interesting. I believe most of them are probably sold through proxy eBay accounts in order to sell them to the public at 3-4 times or 2 to 3 times issue price in some cases. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. For this breaking news here, I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.